Ant-Man 3 is confirmed, and the internet can't stop talking about a secret Marvel movie simply being called Limbo for now. Spoiler alert, it's Fantastic Four, and we totally got to talk about it. It's like the news, but for nerds. Today's shout out goes to the Star Wars fans, just all of you Star Wars fans. We did the Grey Order launch video yesterday. It's blowing up. The response has been really incredible. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening with that. Real quick, if you have a question about the Grey Order, because I see a lot of people online, they're like, sign me up, what do we do next? Look, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to do a live stream, and we're going to talk about everything. So get your questions in. You can send questions to us on social media. You can email us at thedenofnerds@gmail.com. Get your questions in. We'll go over a lot of stuff tomorrow. Also, big important thing, I'm going to be on the Rule of Two podcast tonight. That starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Going to be sitting down with Mark Yodi Riley and Mark Fernandez talking about Star Wars, talking about the fandom. So come on by for that. Okay, now on to the news. Now, there's been a lot of crazy stuff happening with Marvel, kind of behind the scenes, on the Reddit and the Twitterverse and all that kind of stuff. Thus has been the way things have been happening for Marvel lately, and this weekend was no different. There was a lot of reports about Ant-Man 3 being confirmed. Now, I first saw this breaking on Twitter by Jeff Snyder, who is a guy at Collider. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, but that's where I first saw it, and then The Hollywood Reporter ran an exclusive saying that, yes, they had it confirmed that Ant-Man 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp 2, maybe? Who knows? Ant-Man 3 will be taking place, and it's going to start filming pretty soon, actually. In that Hollywood Reporter article, it says that they plan on filming that in early 2021. Now, Collider also ran an article talking about how they had sat down with Michael Douglas, and this was Steve Frosty Weintraub over there, and basically got him to admit that, yeah, they're going to start filming Ant-Man 3 in 2021. So they're filming Ant-Man 3, totally confirmed at this point. Michael Douglas is returning, and we'll start filming in 2021. Now let's shift into some other fantastic news, and you'll see why I'm tying these two things together, and we'll end up at a really cool place in Speculation Town. But check this out. This has been wild. People on Twitter and a lot of the scoop masters and the personalities out there within this leaking community, or whatever you want to call it, the fandom right now, they have all been talking about the possibility of Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four movie on the horizon. I believe Charles Murphy was talking about this. I saw Jeremy Conrad on MCU Cosmic tweet about this. Daniel PKR, a lot of these different people. Like, everybody's pretty... Look, it's the worst kept secret right now on the internet that, yes, the Fantastic Four is going to be coming in 2022. Now I want to talk about a couple of actual old reports, and I want to speculate about what I think is actually going on behind the scenes here, okay? So there's a lot of old stuff that's popping up into my mind as I hear some of these new reports. Number one, I remember rumors and reports that the way the Fantastic Four was going to be introduced in the MCU was going to be that they were stuck in the negative zone, that they were going to attach the Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family, to Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne back in the day, with that time period where they were heroes in like the 60s and maybe 70s, right? And so what they were going to do with the Fantastic Four, according to the reports and the rumors, was create a fish out of time scenario, taking a feather out of Captain America's cap and all that, where they would be stuck in the negative zone since the 60s. And then they would be coming out later on, and that's when they would come into the actual MCU in the current timeline. Now, I'll speculate more on all this in a second, but the next report that popped up for me in my brain was this thing that Michael Douglas said leading up to Infinity War and Endgame. He said, I believe it was actually between the two films, he was talking to somebody, and he said, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the quantum realm is going to play a huge role in all the Marvel stories for all the characters moving forward. He said something like that. It was kind of offhanded, but I remember thinking about it back then, and I rethought about it recently with hearing these comments, because I'm like, dude, Michael Douglas, what did you give away back in the day? You know what I mean? Speculating on that in just a second. And the third report, the rumor, the thing that keeps popping up into my brain is this idea that Marvel had streamlined the Fantastic Four, that something behind the scenes at Marvel Studios had made them want to put the Fantastic Four out really quickly, as opposed to the way they're going to approach the X-Men. The X-Men might kind of trickle in, take more time, but Fantastic Four was something they wanted to streamline, okay? And that's all very interesting. Now, I'll start with the speculating on this. I believe that whatever's going on with Spider-Man and the Spider-Man Sony situation has sort of forced Marvel's hand to change the plan. things are always in motion, right? And Feige, look, he came out and said phase 4. He's like, this is the complete phase 4. The way I announced the complete phase 3, things can change, but this is it, right? And I think that when he said that, the whole idea was, and this he's on record actually admitting sort of to this, is that they wanted to kind of hold back on certain announcements because things were in flux. They were changing things, and they didn't want to put too many things in stone. Now, like, what is it, 11 properties over 2 years? That's still a lot of properties, but if you look at what's going on in the films, the actual screens, it's not that crazy, right? So what did he mean when he was asked about this? And he said, we were deciding right up to Comic-Con what to announce, right? Feige's on record saying that. He's like, yeah, we were deciding what to announce potentially. I don't think he says like phase 4 or 5, but he definitely lets it be known that there was way more that they could have announced that they decided not. And I think basically the logic behind the scenes for Marvel, if this is what's happening, it's likely that, yeah, Spider-Man was going to be a huge piece for them moving forward. They really felt like they were going to be able to sort of leverage Spider-Man and really use his connective tissue to Tony Stark and the first 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a very important piece of connective tissue moving into phase 4 and beyond. Because here's the thing. Here's like the elephant in the room when it comes to Marvel, and why a lot of people are like, oh, there's no way they're going to be able to do what they've done now. Now it's going to kind of go downhill. That all has to do with how like beloved and how much people just associated Marvel with the original Avengers. This would be Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, Hawkeye, all those guys, Iron Man, Captain America. These guys, that is the MCU. Part of the reason it worked is because they nailed the casting. These people grew into these roles over time, which how can you not? You know what I mean? If you're a good actor, which these are all great actors, you're doing a role for years, you're going to grow into it. You know what I mean? And evolve and show new shades of it. It's really, it's unique to those people, those characters. And the fear is moving forward, these new characters are just not going to be received the same way. There's a lot of concerns about what they're doing with characters from some kinds of fans, some groups of fans, and everything like that. So I do believe that if Marvel's cognizant of this, and if this is a real thing, that they definitely wanted Spider-Man to be this important part, but now they're like, we can't do that. Even though we might still be able to get that with Sony, we just can't allow Sony to have that much leverage over us, right? We can't put all of our eggs into the Spider-Man basket. And so I do think that they have altered things behind the scenes because remember, guys, we didn't think that Ant-Man 3 was going to be a movie. We thought Ant-Man 3 was going to be a Disney Plus series, and they were going to continue that story there. And now we're hearing there's going to be a movie. Now, we don't know. Maybe it was always going to be a movie. But if it wasn't, maybe the rationale was, no, we're going to team up the Fantastic Four with Spider-Man. That is how we're going to introduce this character. That's the connective tissue. Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Peter Parker, all geniuses, a lot of mutual respect. That would have been really cool. But maybe Marvel's like, nah, we can't do that. Like, we just can't allow Sony to have that kind of leverage. So that's kind of where my head is at with the potential Spider-Man deal changing the Ant-Man thing. Now, as far as the Fantastic Four being stuck in the negative zone, I just think Limbo implies something like that, right? Like the name Limbo makes me kind of believe that old report. And also, by the way, I thought that would be a great way to introduce them, and I kind of hope that it is the way they introduce them. But I think that's really smart. This is the most kind of speculative part of today's video because we have no idea. Like, we just have no idea. There's some evidence out there, but really these are just rumors, right? So it's like, do I think that this would be cool? Yes. Do I think it could work? Yeah. Do we know that for a fact that it's happening? No, but it's very interesting to speculate about. And also the comments by Michael Douglas about the negative zone playing this big role, the quantum realm playing a big role moving forward. The quantum realm is the solution for so many of Marvel's problems, including how to introduce the FF. So, guys, I'm starting to believe, and, look, we got to separate fact from fiction, fanboy Josh, from reporter Josh. I want this all to be the case. I definitely, reporter Josh believes that, yes, Fantastic Four is coming. It will be that Limbo movie. And then speculative Josh is like, dude, they're changing things because of Spider-Man. And I do think some of these rumors could have been true. And the Fantastic Four might be that fish out of water, or, man out of time story told via Ant-Man 3. And what if, because if Ant-Man 3 and Fantastic Four are both coming out in 2022, do we think that these movies could connect in a very real way? Could the Ant-Man film come out first and be involved in rescuing the Fantastic Four to solve this big problem? And then could the Fantastic Four movie take that baton and run with it? And you guys know where my fanboy head goes. Broken multiverse, time runs out, Jonathan Hickman's Avengers into Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars. That's just what I want, real bad. And I see the possibility of them setting that up there, and it would make a lot of sense. Remember, Peyton Reed was rumored to be the director of the Fantastic Four movie, and this guy pitched not only Fox, but Marvel multiple different times about his Fantastic Four. He's a huge Fantastic Four fanboy, and so if they intro the Fantastic Four in Ant-Man 3, I think that works. So that's the news. That's the speculation, guys. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments section below. And now let's check the nerd card before we get out of here. I want to know, what is the official release date for Into the Spider-Verse #2? This was announced a couple of days ago, and man, am I excited for it. Love Into the Spider-Verse. Think it's brilliant. But the question remains, what is the release date for this coming sequel, baby? Let me know in the comment section below. And also, holy crap, we better get Spider-Man 2099. I mean, come on, that Miguel post-credit scene, like, dude, I need Miguel in that movie in a large way. Like, dude, Spider-Man 2099 is dope. Guys, another reminder, I'm going to be on the Rule of Two podcast tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking to the Marks, Mark Fernandez and Mark Riley over there on the Collider channel. I'm pretty excited about it. I hope you show up. Should be a good time. And that's going to do it for today. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.